Hey, we're live! It's Brilliant People Live. It must be the last Thursday of the month. It definitely must be the last Thursday of the month because here we are about to share Brilliant People Live, and we have got some brilliant people to share with you tonight. We've got three brilliant guests. And what we would love, as always, is for you to participate. If you want to ask them a question, you can. If you want to introduce yourself, you can. If you want to complain, you can. No one will be listening, but you can. So, if we're ready, if you're ready, I'm ready. It'd be quite nice, actually, just in the comments, just say where you're watching from. That would be lovely. So, for example, Donna Clark, straight away with a good evening. And Fiona Setch, hello. Michael, it's Fee from Westerhope. For those of you who don't know, who are on an international audience, Westerhope is just outside Newcastle. Right. Like you want to know that. I'll just turn that down a little bit and I'll press pause there and I'll turn my mic so it's just on me. So this, in case you don't know, the idea is very, very simple. What we do is I introduce you to three people who I know, who I love, who I admire, who are brilliant. They are brilliant, brilliant people. And we just share, we just have a bit of banter, we just have a bit crack, as they say, and then we see where it goes. And nobody's selling stuff and nobody's saying, join this or do that. It just should be nice and relaxed. So I should stop shouting. My brilliant wife said to me the other day, she says, you do realize you shout quite a lot when you're on these broadcasts, Michael. I was like, do I really? And I watched back and I was shouting. I forget that I actually have a microphone there. And also, we have the internet to take the message around. I do not have to shout at everybody. You can all hear me just fine. So are you ready for our first guest tonight? Yes. So this is somebody who I've known for a long time now, and I'm really proud to call them my friend, because when you meet inspirational people who inspire you because of the work that they do, and they inspire you because of the kindness that they have, and they inspire you because of the intellect that they show, that's got to be a great person to have on Brilliant People Live. So would you please welcome my first guest tonight, the one, the only, the amazing Debra Stevens! Debra Stevens!
Woo! I just love that intro. It's amazing.
I think it's important.
And I also shout, by the way. So if I shout, just tell me off.
And I'm just looking at your beautiful background. Let's do this. So look at this.
Yeah.
Look at that. You are properly color. Have you done one of those things where you go on a course to learn how to do your colors?
No, it's purely by accident, but they are our corporate colors. But and also they're the suffragette colors. I don't really know, purple and green suffragette colors. But no, it's sort of I haven't staged it, honestly, really.
I did not. Deb, would you have been a suffragette?
Yes, 100%.
Yeah. Would you? What would you have tied yourself to or changed yourself to?
I would definitely a lamppost, I think. I wouldn't be throwing myself in front of any horses for sure.
No. Is it true that she was actually trying to stop the king's horse rather than dying with the king's horse? It was that thing about showing that a woman could stop a horse.
Yeah, I don't know, but I'm guessing that she was trying to stop the horse. I can't imagine she wanted to die.
No,
it wasn't suicide, I don't think, was it?
No.
How morbid.
Yeah, so that's just off to a good start. So, Deb, for those people who don't know, tell us what you do.
So I run an experiential training company, and that means that people learn by doing. So we use professional actors, and it's very sort of based in trying things out, making mistakes. We have a mantra, fail fast, learn fast, but in a very safe place, a safe environment to actually experiment and try things. So we do all sorts of training, but mostly on the human skills, the soft skills. So communication, emotional intelligence, leadership, empathy, that sort of thing. It's amazing fun. I can't believe I've been doing it for 26 years, never get bored of it. Yeah, no, it's just been fantastic, and it still is. It's just different at the moment. That's all.
Now, Deb, you've put in some miles. You're one of these people who I'd send you a text and you'd say, "Hi, Michael, just in Australia at the moment, just in South Africa at the moment. Hi, Michael, just doing this at the moment." And I'll be like, "Flipping heck, is she ever at home?"
Yeah.
How have you managed to do what you do in this new world, in these boxes?
Well, it's funny because I'm still traveling, but in a whole different way. So I'm traveling virtually. So I still work in Australia and America. I'm working in the US next week. But of course, it's all now on Zoom. You know, it's all virtual. But I'm still meeting people from all those different countries. And actually, in a way, it's made it easier because people can join from anywhere, providing you can make the time zones work. But yeah, no, it's working really well. I must say, I do miss, though, that whole travel thing, because I love traveling. I love flying. I love, even airports I love. So I do miss it all, but I'm still doing it in my own way.
Well, that's cool. And I guess that the way the world is changing and using this medium, that you have to be better. And that's what you very much do, encouraging people to be experimental, to use particular words, to understand that your face might be leaking what your brain's actually thinking on a Zoom is magnified, isn't it?
Yep. I think that's where we sort of been able to really explore all of this on these screens, and also using actors, of course. They're used to being on screen. So it's like watching telly now. So the actors are still there, they still come on, but they're on screen. But also they are the best people to help you in terms of your presence on screen. They've really helped me, because this is not something I used to do. I know I was used to, just like you, Michael, standing up with an audience, feeding off that energy. It's so different in this medium. So even the whole looking at the camera thing can, freak you out. What do you do? Do you look at the camera? Do you look at Michael? What, it isn't easy. It's really difficult.
Well, Deb, I've got to say that I'm working out for myself sometimes. It's bizarre.
I know, you forget. I've actually got a picture of my dog stuck to my camera to remind myself to keep looking at the camera.
There's mine. Look, I'll just show you. There she is.
The same thing. That's so weird.
That's my cousin right there. And especially when you're doing stuff and there's no audience, you can't see somebody like this. You're just doing it live.
That's even worse. I haven't even done webinars. I just can't imagine. I just can't imagine it, to be honest with you.
Well, the thing with the webinar is that you absolutely have to make up the fact that people are laughing and people are enjoying it. And I'll do a keynote. I do a keynote in the webinar, and I just pretend I can see them. I actually even I'll say, "Come on!" And there's always going to be a John. And there's always going to be Sue or Sandra. So I'll say, "Come on, Sue, I can see you here." Big smiles. And the number of times that the organizers have come out and said, "That was so bizarre that you mentioned Sue." I was like,
"That's brilliant. That's fantastic." We've all had to adapt, haven't we? That's it.
Yeah. Now, in the post last week, I received a package, and it was a very special package. And we have this system at Heppel Home, where if something arrives in the post, it has to go into quarantine.
Oh, right, okay.
So it goes into quarantine. But this package had Pearson written on the front. I think I know what this might be, and I'm very excited. Please, may we open it now? And we opened it up, and guess what was inside?
Woohoo!
So this is Deb's book. Look at how, it's called Stand Out, and my goodness, does it stand out?
Yeah, it's good, isn't it? I really like the cover. I think it's really cool.
Finding a cover for a book, it's such a labor of love, and you kind of, because they send you these little illustrations, you kind of going, will it work? But I tell you what, when I see that in W.H. Smith's, it's standing out, which is brilliant. Yeah. So, Deb, I would have had you on this show whether you had a book out or not. As you have, let's talk about this book. Okay. What's it about? Why should I buy it? Why should I buy 10 copies and give them to everybody who I know?
Right, because I think now more than ever, actually, it's really relevant. It's a book that helps you reboot the human. So if you think about all the different technology that we're using at the moment, we were using it a lot before, but we've used it so much more now. As we start to hopefully, fingers crossed, get back to more face-to-face interaction with people, we need to get our humanness back. And the book is all about developing your human skills, your soft skills. So to sort of relearn them, refresh them, just get better at them. It's really an opportunity to do that. And whether you're a leader, leading a team and want to sort of help your team do that, or you want to improve your skills as a leader, getting back into the office and doing it face to face again, or whether you're an individual looking for a job and you want to stand out in an interview, or, you know, if you do what we do and we're sort of connecting with people virtually and face to face, it's a book to help you do those things. So it's all about standing out, engaging, and being vulnerable, warts and all human.
And that's the real beauty. And what I love about this book is it's not stand out, hey, jazz hand.
No,
it's stand out by being your true, authentic self.
Yeah.
And being human. And that's that key. And that message runs through on every single page about, come on, we're humans. That's what makes everybody's different.
Yeah.
Embrace those differences. Embrace what you stand for. Embrace your core values. Those things really come out. So how long has it taken to get from the idea to the book being published?
Right. Well, that's a great question because first of all, you know, you have to pitch your book idea. So you pitch, you get turned down. So you have to pitch another idea. And I did every single thing I possibly could to pitch the book. And then eventually it was accepted. And then, of course, it took 9 months to write the book, which was great, a really fantastic experience. And then it was all put on hold because we had a coronavirus pandemic. So it was supposed to come out last May, didn't. And then, of course, I had to then rewrite some of it and tweak it to make it work for our current environment. And then, of course, it came out on the 2nd of May. So it's over 2 years in the end it took. But you know what? I think actually, isn't it funny how these things just happen for a reason? I think it's more relevant now than it ever was. It's probably going to be more, you know, more needed now than ever before as well.
Yeah. So I knew you were doing this, and we talked quite a bit, especially in the early stages. And very kindly, you gave me a nice thank you at the front, which I'm you know, was honoured because it was a pleasure to encourage you and to help you. But one of the things that I've really seen is this evolution of an idea. And where the original idea, and I think was it originally called Not a Robot?
Yeah, originally it was going to be called Not a Robot. Yeah, and then it went to the title I really loved, actually, the one in between, which was Being Human.
Yeah,
and that was the one that I really liked. But then it changed again to what it is now, Stand Out. And by the way, I would never have written a book, Michael, if it hadn't been for you. You know that, and you wrote the foreword as well, so you had a massive part to play in all of it.
Well, I think the thing about you writing the book was that I just said to you, Deb, you need to write a book. And
I remember it.
Anybody you'll know if I really love and admire you, because I will say to you, you need to write a book. And you know, sometimes people will be like, what me? And I'm like, yes, you. Get that story out. Get that. It's there forever once you've done it. So get that message out. Brilliant.
Yeah.
So Stand Out is now available. You can get it. And it's great. And the lovely thing about this book is one of the things I really think is brilliant is the second part of the book is all the how-tos.
Yeah.
First bit, you've got these 5 really core things that you need to do and understand. The second part is how to do it. And you make people very accountable with it. Even though it's a book, you kind of feel like you're there going, have you done your task for this week?
I know. Yeah, it's a bit like that. I mean, the second half of the book is a masterclass in human skills. So there are 5 weeks of exercises, and there are 4 exercises every day. And it's all based on like a gym analogy. So, you know, it's I believe that soft skills and human skills are like muscles. They need working. They're physical things that need working all the time to keep them fit. You know, if you don't go to the gym, you lose your fitness very quickly. It's the same thing with these skills. So, yeah, and there's all sorts of different exercises. Some of them will make you really like go, ooh, I really don't want to do that.
Yes.
those are the ones that you need to do, though. Those are the important ones.
I just turned the page there. I thought, no, Deb didn't really mean for Michael to do that.
Oh, yeah.
But a lot of that is because I think you're encouraging readers to kind of share their vulnerability as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
And to say, that's an area I do need to work on. And that's something I really do need to do. And that can be tough.
Yeah, because I do think, a lot of us, for instance, the classic one of the 5 skills is listening. Whenever I do my training, I always ask, how good a listener do you think they are? And I always think they're really good listeners. But of course, none of us are good listeners. None of us. We all have to work at it all of the time. Yeah. So, we just have to, and it's okay. It's okay. That's the whole point. In fact, I would say if you say you're a good listener and don't need to work at it, chances are you'd score pretty high on the human robots quiz in the book.
Yes. Oh, brilliant. Deb, you're going to come back in a little while, but one thing I always ask everybody is to bring something that you just consider to be brilliant or you associate with brilliance. Tell me, what have you brought along for us? Here we go.
Yeah, it's quite hard to show on this.
Hang on. Let's go like that. Look at this.
Right. Do you know what that is? Do you know what it is?
Is it a weighted hula hoop?
It's a weighted hula hoop, yeah. And the reason I chose this is because I've got this thing. It's actually in the book as well, but it's a sort of thing that we all have in our family. It's the power of not yet. So in other words, we often tell ourselves we can't do things. But if you apply the power of not yet to it, you can always do something. So when I got this, honestly, I could not get it to go around my waist for more than 2 seconds, 3 seconds.
I was going to say, I could not get it to go around my waist. I was going to say, how big are you?
Oh, no, I've lost a lot of weight. But, I just can't. I've got to be careful what I say here because I nearly said I can't keep it up, but I couldn't keep it up. And it honestly, I was bruised and battered trying to do this. And I was all for giving up. I had to keep telling myself, you can't do it, not yet. You can't do it, not yet. And I did a little bit every day. And bit by bit by bit, it grew. It went up and up and up. And now I can just keep it going. I can do it for 30 minutes now without stopping.
Really?
So, yeah, 30 minutes. And the thing is, right, if I can do that, trust me. But that means, we are capable of doing anything at all, if we apply that to it. Learning a language, learning an instrument, writing a book, planting a garden, any of it. Yeah, the power of not yet.
I love that. I love it. Thank you very much. Deb, thank you. We are going to bring you back in a little while, but I'm just going to pop you back into the green room. Grab yourself a gin and tonic.
Thank you very much.
I'll pop you back in there. There we go. Wow. That was brilliant. I love that. Now, while we're talking about inspiring women, I would now like to introduce you to another inspiring woman, somebody who I've got to know reasonably well over the last 12 months or so. And she asked me if I would be involved with a project that she was doing. I'm not going to tell you about it because I would like the incredible, the marvelous, the brilliant and amazing Angie Beeston to join me right now on the stream to share what you made me do.
Oh, hello. Lovely to see you, Michael. Really good to be here. Hello. I'm just reeling about the hula hoop because I have a weighted hula hoop and I've just remembered I've actually got it in my garden. It's tucked behind a garden bench and Debra's now inspired me to go and dig it out and clean it up and use it. So.
Well, it's going to have to happen.
It will. No, I've said that on a live as well. So what did I get you to do then? So it was 3 months ago now? 3 months ago, I got you to fill out a GC index assessment tool, which is something that I use as part of my work.
So GC index assessment tool. Oh, that just sounds terribly dull.
It does, doesn't it? No.
Yeah. So
okay.
What's the sexy subtitle?
Game changer. It's a game changer. It's working out. GC stands for game changer. So essentially, we're trying to find out what your impact and contribution is to the organization, to what you want to do, your preferences. So as part of my leadership coaching and mentoring work, GC Index sits with it. So it isn't quite as static as it sounds. So essentially we're trying to draw out and find out what you love doing, what actually drives you, where you prefer to be rather than the stuff that you have to do. And we all have to do that, of course. It's part of our day to day. And things that we would prefer not to do. But when you run your own business, like you do, you end up getting pulled into things. Unless you've got an amazing team around, you can do the things you don't want to do. So
even if my challenge is, as you identified, even when I have an amazing team around me, I still cannot let it lie. I fiddle.
Yeah, it's like, get your hands out, don't.
Fiddler. Michael, man. That was
to others. Yes, yeah.
I think we've all done these things before, haven't we? Where you fill in a load of questions, and Andrew was like, "Don't think about it too much. Just answer them. Just answer them from the heart." And then you feel you've already answered this one, so you know, did I say this last time or whatever? But it's all designed very cleverly to kind of pull out and to say, look, this is the type of the type of person that we want to find out from this. It needs to be very honest. And normally when I do these things, it's part of a group thing, and everybody who does it uses it as an excuse for their behavior. So it's like, oh, I'm a purple thruster monkey. But because purple thruster monkeys don't listen, then I'm allowed not to listen. And you were like, no, this is not about creating excuses. This is about identification and learning from it and doing something about it. And when we did the debrief on it, and that was the kind of really interesting. And this is what people can watch that on the video, can't they?
Yeah, they can actually. Yeah, it's out on LinkedIn. It's under my profile. So on the GC Index, it is actually out there. We've put the transcript up and the video as well. So yeah, it's all recorded. All recorded.
See me squirming.
Hopefully you're a little bit relaxed and a bit like, oh, okay, this is uncomfortable.
I don't want to be told I'm not very good at that. Just tell me all the good things.
Yeah, and I'm sticking my fingers in my ears for the rest of it. I think the one thing we need to be careful of, that we all have to be very aware of certain blips that we have. And I don't want to really call them weaknesses, but we do all have them. So let's just be honest about this. And that there are going to be areas that are uncomfortable for us to think about. So, but it's great to actually know what really drives us and what motivates and what excites us to get out of bed in the morning to do things, and actually make a difference. And the big thing for me is when people listen back and we do the follow-up sessions to talk through this, which is obviously what you and I did in depth, is that light bulb moments, those that come out that they think, okay, just because I'm not that doesn't mean I don't have it. And it means, I can't use it as an excuse. You're absolutely right. Why should you, just because you don't have that as an intention and a motivation, why does it mean that you can switch that bit off? It's not there as an excuse. As you say, I'm this, so I'm not going to do it. That's, I'm just going to step away from it.
Yeah.
We have to face that.
But also, Angie, I think one of the other things was embrace the stuff that is authentically you, even if it feels a little bit challenging. So I've got an ego, right? That's why I'm a presenter. That's why I like standing on stages in front of 2,000 people who may just give you a standing ovation at the end. I love that. And it's like, don't try and hide that. Use it to do something. And I can make money from that as well. That's my job. I mean, how cool is that? I get paid to do what I absolutely love. And I see sometimes these people who are, I just want to contribute. I just want to change the world. I just want to do that. I just want to do that. And you kind of go, it just doesn't sit true with you. It's just kind of it. Are you saying that because you're meant to say that? And I think one of the best places to get examples of this is, have you been on Clubhouse?
No, I haven't got iPhone. I haven't got Apple, so I can't. Right. I'm not on the list at the moment. I'm waiting.
When you eventually get onto Clubhouse, first of all, it's wonderful, but it's mad, and it's full of these American motivational people. Bringing people on who kind of go, I just want to contribute. I just want to change the world with my message. I just want to give. And like they all say, I'm thinking, if everybody's doing that, who's actually, creating something that can be sold, that can be done, and you run a very successful business teaching people how to be better.
Yes.
Yeah. What have you noticed in terms of what people want to be better at the moment? What's right up there?
Right up there at the moment is managing this remote working. And I'm not going to call it working from home because it is remote working. That is the environment everyone's in. Mm-hmm. And the challenge at the moment is that people are just trying to get their head around what they need to do to embrace the next step. So whatever that looks like, and I'm not going to call it normal because we don't know. But the one thing that people are quite concerned about is keeping teams together, as in the morale. And so I'm spending a lot of time talking to people about how to support them through that.
Give us 3 things that people can do if they're either working remotely or they're trying to manage remote teams. Just 3 headlines.
3 headlines. So first of all, really obvious, but take time to have one-to-ones with people. If you've got a team, you should be doing that anyway. So you need to make time to do it in the virtual world. And I don't mean to have a meeting to then talk about tasks and deadlines and projects and updates. If you do have to do that, fine, but make sure you've got 10 minutes, which is essentially replacing the walk down the corridor to go into an office, to get a coffee, to stand in the kitchen. Replace that human stuff with it. It needs to be there.
Human stuff. Humans. Deb, I'm going to bring Deb back. Going to bring Deb back for a second.
Whoa, you nearly caught me out there.
What were you doing? Fiddling with your phone? Did you hear that though? I mean, that message there. That's that first message straight away. Remember the human stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's man.
More than anything at the moment, I think we all have to remember that and just be really kind to each other as well, I think.
Yeah, we do. I think that is the important side of it, that people have. It's not that they've forgotten; they've just got really distracted because the world's been turned upside down. We've all had to respond to that. The second thing I would suggest is that leaders need to start encouraging people to embrace new ways of working, really embrace it, because I think there's a little bit, and Deborah, you might agree with me on this one, that there's hesitancy now about how people go back and readapt into that environment, and they're almost like, well, that's fine, then I won't have to do all this. And like you, Deborah, I've had to go completely virtual, and this is my world now, and it has, in a strange way, completely made my world huge, but it shrunk my physical world. But that's okay, because now you've got connections all over the world, and you go onto webinars and you meet amazing people, like you, Michael, as well, even though you're in the UK, but you meet all these people. And I think it's the open-mindedness of it. And I think the third thing is to don't just go back to normal. I'm doing a piece of work collaboratively with one of my business friends, Joe Humpstead, and we're looking at how we develop that model, what that looks like going forward, so that we have an opportunity now. We've had 12 months of this. What can we do better so we don't just slide back to everybody doing what we were doing before? So I think there's a real chance now for change, a revolution.
Absolutely.
I love that because I think we owe it. I personally think we owe it to all the people that have suffered during this time to make the world a better place.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. Yeah, yeah, totally.
No, sorry, Deborah, I promise not to catch out again. Your name really loud.
Oh my God! Now.
Back on. Oh God! Right, okay. There you go. So, Angie, have you brought something that you associate with brilliance and being brilliant?
I have, actually. I'm wearing it.
Oh, let's have a look.
Wearing it. So, this I made. I don't know if it's a very flattering angle. I made this dress last year in lockdown. So I haven't done dressmaking for 30 years. Dare I admit that? But 30 years. And my friend bought me a sewing machine in March, just as lockdown hit last year. My birthday's not until August, and she phoned me up and said, I've got your birthday present. I was like, well, it's not till August. Why are you dropping it off? And she said, we're going to have to drop it off because it's too heavy to carry. So what? So a husband came round and put it on the doorstep, and it was a brand new sewing machine. So I know. So last year I started doing as soon as I got into Zoom and so on, I started doing Zoom classes with them. We learned to make bunting and cushions and things like that. And we progressed on to clothes. So we started making clothes. So it's the very first dress I've ever made in my life. So, which I'm wearing today. So
people are loving it. Look at this. Whoop, whoop. Go, Angie. People are loving it. Absolutely.
So you can't see the whole dress, but yeah, it's a wrap dress it's sleeveless wrap dress for the summer, really. But I wanted to put it on because I haven't had a chance to wear it last year. And the thing for me is it's taught me it's the slow down, the patience, running your own business. Your head's always busy. And for me, I like being creative. I love music, singing, designing, art, all that kind of thing. So yeah. I did go off piece for this dress, although I followed a pattern. Again, first time in my life. I didn't have my mum to help me, sadly. She's not anymore. But I think she'd be quite impressed that I've actually managed to make a dress all on my own. So it was quite a feat, to be honest. So.
I think it's brilliant. Well done. That is brilliant. Hey! Angie, will you hang around and join us again in a minute when we bring everybody on?
Of course I will. Yeah, no worries.
Okay. So we've got one more guest, and so I thought we'd better have a bloke. So I've managed to get a bloke who's going to join us now, who I've known him for a while, and I think we met a few years ago, and he once posted a picture of me and him together. And the brilliant thing about the person I'm about to introduce you to is we are very similar heights. We are both 6'4" in our minds, but closer to middle of the 5 foot areas, 5'6" areas, somewhere else. He might be a bit taller, I don't know. But as much as our stature may be small, our vision is big. And this person has probably created one of the most interesting topics to talk about, and then ultimately to write a book about. And I would like to introduce you to our third guest now. Please give a huge round of applause to Phil from Ireland. Hi, Phil from Ireland. Oh, Ian, sorry.
Yes.
Why did I think Phil from Ireland?
Because that's how I was introduced to New York City on the podcast at the weekend. I sometimes get the Phil bit. I think people look at the surname and they put an H in. Yeah, and so you're on a call center call, and it's you spell your name out, and they go, and then they say, right, okay, Phil, how can I help you?
All right.
They think my name is Phil Bean. I'm Mr. Bean.
Oh, nice.
I know, lovely. It's 5'6.5", Michael.
Is that how tall you are? Well, I saw a tweet the other day, and it said when a bloke says he's 5'11", he's actually 5'9", because if he was 5'11", he would say he was 6 foot. That is absolutely right. That is so true. So I'm 5'5.5". You got an inch on me. So Ian, thank you very much for joining us. And on your t-shirt it says, "Are we there yet?" which is a message that I guess everybody's heard from their kids. Anybody's got kids, are we there yet? Are we there yet? And that's literally just going round the corner or just down to the shops or going to visit grandma or whatever. You did something a little bit more dramatic with your trip with the kids. Tell everybody, what did you do?
So we took our kids, or should I say they took us, backpacking around the world for a year. 52 weeks. 52 weeks from Cape Town to Rio with 2 backpacks, an 8-year-old and a 10-year-old, and a 40-something-year-old who were all looked after by my wife, who got us home safely.
Incredible. So look, that's one of those things. How, why? I mean, there's so many questions around it. How, what, where, why, when? But well, first of all, why did you do it? Everybody talks about it, but why did you actually decide to do it?
Yeah, great question. I was asked this question. Someone said to me earlier today, they said, I've got a friend who's thinking about doing this with the young kids. Should they do it? And I said, well, the first thing is, why would they want to do it? What's the motivator? And for us, So I told them about Simon Sinek's Golden Circle. So for us, it came about through the what, then we worked out the how, but actually it was all about the why. So the why was family circumstances. My father-in-law had dementia and he lived with us. And as that progressed, it got to the point where he couldn't be left alone. So that normal family life that you have when you just jump in the car and you go to the zoo or you go to the cinema, we had none of that. So the kids, we were missing out on the kids and they were missing out on us. The what came from sitting in a bar on a package holiday in Turkey, saying to the kids, where do you fancy going on holiday next? And them saying, can we ever think about that, Dad, and come back to you tomorrow? And they came back to us tomorrow with a list, and that was a list of 10 countries. And it went something like Australia, kangaroos, China, panda bears, Peru, llamas, Africa, lions, Madagascar, lemurs, etc. And we just went, wow, that sounds like not just a great holiday, but imagine if you could do that all at the same time. And what if you could get a round the world ticket for families? So we Googled it and you could. And boom, 3 weeks after getting back from that holiday, I'm negotiating my way out of a very secure, well-paid permanent role, which I loved. Not quite knowing that there's a recession just around the corner. And that was it. We completed the school year. I did 3 months in Sri Lanka, just do a bit of volunteering and learn some travel skills. And off we went.
Wow. So it would terrify me taking my kids when they were 10 and 8. But I think for you, that was kind of almost the beauty of doing it when they were that age. Earlier, probably couldn't do it. Later, they're into the education, all that type of stuff. So did you kind of just hit on that perfect time?
Yes. Yeah. And it was serendipity that we did. But absolutely. For me, and there are families who'll take little tots around the world. I didn't fancy that. You've got all the nappies and all that sort of stuff. But also, they're not going to remember it, right? What we did has impacted on our kids' lives for good. It's changed who they are and what they do.
Well, that's the key question. I mean, how many years ago was it when you went?
So this was 2008 to 2009.
Okay.
I'll remember the maths, whatever that is.
Okay, so the kids are up now. What sort of impact has it had on their lives?
Yeah, well, take Rory, the eldest. On Tuesday next week, he's getting married in Mexico to a Mexican girl.
Wow.
Right? So 2 summers ago, he went backpacking around Mexico and Central America on his own. And he's in a park one day in Mexico City, meets this lassie, and now they're getting married. So in terms of life-changing impact, that is probably up there, isn't it?
I mean, that is amazing. That is incredible. And so do you have to watch it on Zoom?
Yes.
Oh, that must be a bit sad.
It's a bit of a choker, absolutely. I mean, I'm delighted for them that they're getting married, but yeah, to not be there at the first wedding of your kids is a bit of a bummer, really. But hey ho, it is what it is.
Yeah. So, Ian, the reason why we're talking about this now, about something that happened that long ago, is because you got your finger out and you decided to write the book about the journey, about the story. And I really loved reading this book. I know that when people host these chat show type things, they always kind of go, oh, I really loved it or whatever. If it was pants, I wouldn't have you on the show but I loved it. I really did enjoy every single word of it. And one of the things I talked about, I did a review on Amazon, was about feeling like another member of the family. And you were taking me on the journey, and you weren't trying to write a guidebook. You weren't trying to say, here's what you need to do when you're there. You just shared the experience, and you shared it, warts, shits, throwing up, little beasties swimming up your bum, whatever. You did, everything was in there. And I really loved that. But also there was an element of this, we want to be part of the cultures that we visit. So there was very little. I mean, I think you maybe had a handful of nights in really nice hotels. After that, you were in lodges and you were in, renting a place and camping and doing all that type of stuff. Is there one place that stands out where the culture just really gripped you and you thought, wow, this is just something I could never, ever have imagined until I got here?
So there are places that you have in your imagination that you've never been to, and then you go there and you go, wow, it's even better than I thought. And I could pick probably half a dozen places like that. But my personal favourite, and the rest of the family aren't on the show, so we're going to pick mine. Mine was Peru. Now, why did I want to go to Peru? Very simple, 2 words: Paddington Bear.
Great.
Right. Read the books as a kid, watched the TV animated thing, loved it, and that image of deepest, darkest Peru had been in my imagination since childhood. So I knew I was going to love it. I knew that there were places we were going to go to in Peru that were going to be special because you hear about them. So Machu Picchu, of course, is the classic, and I knew we were going to go there. Sorry, someone is reversing through my door at the moment. It sounds like I'm in a top floor flat, so that's a worry. But Peru is so colourful, it's so vibrant, it's so historic, it's so alive. I just loved everything about it, apart from the food.
Yeah.
Apart from the food.
Well, what would have made it better?
If the main dish wasn't guinea pig. And we're all vegetarians. So.
Right. Well, but guinea pigs aren't real meat, are they?
Well, I mean, they're vegetarian themselves, so I mean, there's an argument that we're on the same page. But yeah.
So they eat a lot of guinea pig, do they? How do they prepare it?
They skewer it, roast it. Yeah, but I think they do it in lots of different ways. There's a national day of the guinea pig.
Is there?
Yeah.
And then people eat them on the national day.
Yeah.
Oh, that must be terribly disappointing for the guinea pigs.
Oh, there was actually a village. So there were restaurants that only serve guinea pig. They're called queerias. So the guinea pig, queerias. So C-U-Y.
Yeah.
I don't know how they pronounce it. Anyway, that's guinea pig in Spanish. So there was a village we drove through, and every restaurant only served guinea pig.
So what, did they do like guinea pig ice cream and stuff like that?
Probably. We didn't stop, so I'm not.
It sounds like if Heston Blumenthal was there,
yes.
He would be like, "What else can we do? Guinea pig cake, guinea pig hot cross bun." It's like the Waitrose guinea pig selection. You can imagine what it would be like.
Yeah, they do guinea pig hummus. Yeah.
I don't even think what that would be. So, Ian, if you were to do this again, right? What would you do differently?
I wouldn't take the kids.
It's the whole point of the story. They're on the front of the damn book.
I'm kidding.
I know you're only kidding about that, but
yeah. The thing with travel, it's no different from life. You'd do so much differently if you could do it again.
Mm-hmm.
You'd stay longer in places. You'd skip some places. You'd stay in different accommodation. You'd go to that place that you ran out of time to go to. You can always make it better with retrospect. That doesn't matter. That's just part of the joy of travel. So we can't wait for COVID to be over and to get back out on the road. And it's been fascinating listening to your other 2 guests because, as you know, I run an HR business. So ordinarily, everything they're talking about is what I'd be talking about. And 3 weeks ago, I would have described myself as the owner of an outsourced HR and health and safety business. I'd now describe myself as a traveling author who owns a business.
Yay!
So,
well done.
Yeah, so there will be, all being well, there'll be a nice big trip next year, and I'll be writing the book as I go along.
And you need to have an extra backpack with a bunch of copies of this one in. So when you go in there, you can say to people, "Oh, I wrote this book, and would you like to be in the next one?" And you get extra special treatment. I used to carry copies of 5-Star Service around with me all the time, and used to discreetly make sure that hotels knew that I was the best-selling author of 5-Star Service. Christine used to go nuts. She was going, "Have you no shame?" I was like, "Wait till we're getting upgraded. Wait till they leave us a bottle of champagne. Wait till we can get into a restaurant that nobody else can get into. Then you tell me whether I have no shame.
Love it. Love it. I've got 2 plans. One is to do a book tour in the States. So we'll see how that goes.
Yay.
Why not? Why not? Just take a few and just pitch, contact places before we pitch up. They might be happy to do it. And then I want to make sure I'm in Edinburgh, which is where I am next August. And hopefully the Edinburgh International Book Festival will be back on. And they have a big tent full of all the books on different tables and stands. And I've got this little mischievous idea of just turning up with a few copies in my backpack and just kind of putting them on the pile and seeing what happens.
Ian, you should be there talking at that event. You should be doing something. Yeah. Let's get it, put it out there. Come on. Let's do it. Brilliant.
Absolutely.
People love it. We got here, enjoying the book, Ian, from Facebook user. I've got as far as Australia with you, Ian. See, that's the thing, with you. People are traveling with you. That is really, really great. Is it on Audible? Well, you can get the audio version. Not on Audible, though. How do people get it if they want the audio version?
Yeah, familytrippers.co.uk.
Familytrippers.co.uk. Now, Ian, have you brought something along that you associate with being brilliant and brilliance?
I have. I've actually changed my mind whilst I've been watching your other guests.
All right, good.
It was going to be travel related, but it's not going to be now.
All right.
So nothing to do with travel. You know that I'm a big Bruce Springsteen fan.
Yes.
Yeah. So in the E Street Band, there's a guitarist called Niels Lofgren.
Okay.
And this is a signed Niels Lofgren guitar.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So
is it a Gibson guitar?
What is it? I think so, yeah. And it says Believe. That's his thing. Believe. Yeah. So I can't play the guitar, but I love musical instruments. I could have a whole room of them.
So how did you end up with that?
I spent a silly amount of money on it.
There's no clever story, Michael. I bought it in an auction. It cost an absolute fortune.
Yeah.
Why not?
I love anything signed. Just drives my wife crazy. She didn't see the point, but I love that sort of stuff. So we've also got some signed Nelson Mandela lithographs at home as well, which are amazing. So I bought those in Cape Town.
Signed by the man?
Signed, limited edition, pencil signed lithographs of scenes from Robben Island. Yeah.
Oh my goodness!
Really special.
I've got a guest who's going. I can tell you this now. We're going to have him on Brilliant People, and I've interviewed him, and I'm going to put the interviews on Team 17, and he was Nelson Mandela's pilot.
Wow!
And he tells these incredible stories about Nelson Mandela and the man that he was, and how once and it's helicopter pilot, so he would fly him from. Hang on, that shouldn't be on.
Is that him?
Oh no, that's. Hang on, that's actually on silent, but because it's my daughter and she's rang us twice, it's got through. So she must have something exciting to share. Sorry, Sarah, I'm talking to Ian. He's been around the world with his kids. We're talking about Nelson Mandela. Yeah, but yeah, and he talks about that. He flew him once. Second time that he flew him, straight away he remembered his name. He talked about his family. You know, when every time they were flying, he'd have his headset on. He would communicate with them. They would talk about stuff. Whenever they landed somewhere, he used to make sure that they were really well fed and that they had good stuff. And I won't tell the story now, but there's this incredible, moving story about. I'll not even try and tell it. It's just mind blowing. What a man!
The thing with Mandela is that's not a unique story.
Yes.
So when I went to Cape Town, which is when I got these lithographs in 2003, and we went to Robben Island, which is a very deeply moving experience, and you're taken around by people who were imprisoned with Mandela on the island. And when we got back in the gift shop, we were just chatting to the guy behind the till, and he was Nelson Mandela's jailer. Not on Robben Island, but at the prison that he stayed in on the mainland when he was released from Robben Island. He was Nelson Mandela's jailer, and Mandela not only befriended him, he put his son through university. Mandela funded his son to go through university. His jailer's son.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Wow.
What a guy.
So I'm going to bring our other guests back. So let's just pop. We got Angie and we got Deb there, and we all know who we are now. So what I can do is I can actually take off our thing there. There we go. And Angie, have you got any stories about Nelson Mandela?
I've actually met his bodyguard. So so I chair a business networking group called the Executive Association Solent. So it's part of Exec Association Great Britain. It's part of a bigger sort of span, really. And it was interesting because we get speakers coming along. Obviously, this isn't recent. Quite clearly, I've been doing it all on Zoom the last 12 months. And it was probably about 2 years ago. Somebody in our group knew someone who knew him. So he got invited to come along, and he came along as a guest. Lovely, lovely guy. His name is Chris. I'm trying to think of his surname. My brain's gone blank.
Mix something up. We're in.
But a lovely guy, very unassuming. And it was just fascinating. And in fact, it's amazing who you meet, because the year before that, I met this lovely lady called Gilda. Gilda Lee Lidderdale. She came along, and her father was one of the first. She was from Memphis, and so her father had led the sort of the black community to help them with business in that time. Her father, she's now in her 70s, so this is obviously a while ago in the Deep South, and he used to create scholarships. So he had helped Martin Luther King and Oprah Winfrey, to name but a few, when they were very young, and got them on the ladder because he was so successful in the insurance world. So amazing people. And she met Elvis Presley. She just dropped that in a conversation and said that she'd been in a Cadillac. He dropped into a Cadillac dealership near to where they lived, and he knew the family. So he popped in, and she was about 13 at the time. And she said, yeah, I used to come round and say hello. So yeah, she dropped that in conversation. It's amazing, isn't it? You just never know you're going to meet.
We're going for the hat trick here. Deb, what's your Nelson Mandela story?
I haven't got one. I have not. I've been to South Africa a lot. My daughter's married to a Cape Town guy. So I've been there lots of times, but I don't know. I've not met anybody that knows him. Unfortunately, sorry. I've got other claims to fame.
Well, come on then. What's yours?
Well, here you go. See if you can guess, right? So I was a lead singer in a band that got to number 2 in the charts in the 80s, but you would never know it was me. What do you reckon?
St. Winifred School Choir.
No.
No, that was number 1. That was number 1.
It got to number 2, but it's still got to number 2. I was dressed in a yellow bird costume. See if that gives you a clue.
Not the Tweety song. The Tweety song.
That's it. I was Tweety Tweet in the tweets and did the birdie song.
No.
Yeah.
I've danced to that so many times, Deborah, and I never knew. There you go.
I was the lead singer, but we never sang. I was working at a record company, and the band didn't exist. It was just like a session sort of created in the studio. So when it got to Top of the Pops, I needed a band, so I just got roped into dressing up as a yellow chicken. And I had a big crush on Tony Hadley, and he was there with Spandau Ballet, and I was dressed as a yellow bird.
I met Tony Hadley a couple of years ago. I was down in Muddyford, near to where I live in Bournemouth, and I went for a walk, and he walked into the cafe where I was sitting, and I looked at him, and all these women, older women, a bit older than me, were all sitting there giggling, going and pointing at him, and I looked up and I thought, he looks really familiar, and I thought I'd met him at a networking event. Then I realised I'd never met him before, and it was Tony Hadley. And I went over, and I can't remember what rubbish I came out with, but it wasn't very intelligent. And I just got a bit starstruck. It's a bit pathetic, really, but there we go.
I have to tell you, folks, we're losing viewers. It's suddenly become about this thing about talking about who you might have met from the 80s. So let's move on. We got a couple of minutes left, and I have 2 questions for you all. Okay, 2 questions for you all. So the first one is, this is about brilliant people, right? What do you think makes a person brilliant? What characteristic? I know there's lots, but if there's one characteristic, when you look at somebody, you go, wow, they're brilliant. What is it that makes a person brilliant? Let's start with Ian.
Okay, I'm going to go with work in progress. All
Okay.
the brilliant people I know have that humility and that desire to learn because they know that they're constantly improving. And that's why they're brilliant, because they don't think they are yet. They just want to keep getting better and better.
I love that. Hang on, look at this comment that's just come in, though. He came to our house, Facebook user. He came to our house. Who? Willie Hadley, a tweet.
Nelson
Mandela. Ian Pilbeam. Phil from Ireland. Who? Who came to your house? I need to know. Don't leave until you tell us that one. Brilliant. Okay. And then Angie, who would you say? What would you say? What's a characteristic of brilliant people?
Sincerity, absolute sincerity and integrity sits with it. Brilliant people for me are people who will never know they're brilliant because they don't have an ego. They're not arrogant. They don't know how good they are, and people look up to them, and they have this quiet, lovely, quiet air of confidence, and it's a quiet sense of success. That's what I think. When I look at brilliant people, that's what I see. And they are the people who are always aspiring, as Ian was saying about wanting to learn, but they do it in such a quiet way, and they bring people with them. And it goes back to kindness and compassion. So that's what I would say. For me, that's how I would define it.
Lovely. Deb?
Well, for me, it's people that are interested in other people. So I think Dale Carnegie said, to be interesting, be interested. And I think that's really true. So people that really park their own agenda and are curious about other people and really listen, but don't just go through the motions, but really listen. I think they're very special.
Deb, can I ask you this? Did Tony Hadley go to your house?
Yes, funnily enough.
Oh my God. Do you know what? I see.
Yeah.
He came to our house, and then I find out on the chat, ask Deb, it's Pete. This is your husband.
I know. He came to our house. We had a big row. So I was in such a bad mood. I still didn't get to meet Tony Hadley. But my husband showed him around our house because he was with I think he was with someone, a friend of his that was interested in renting the house we were in. Anyway.
And
I wasn't going to say anything.
had a Barney, so you didn't get a chance to see him.
You know the film Sliding Doors? That moment.
Tell me about it. Tell me about it. I know. There you go.
That is class. That is absolutely brilliant. Okay, and then my second question, and the one that we're going to finish with right now, is the clocks go forward this weekend, right? We start to get some spring. We start to get some light. What are you going to do with that extra hour of daylight that we're about to be given? And we'll do it the other way around this time. So, Deb, if you can go first. Now, you've got an extra hour from Sunday. What are you going to do with it?
I'm going to play outside in the garden with my little granddaughter because she loves being outside. So I'm going to do that. And she's 3 now, so she's really like full of it and interesting and gorgeous. And she's going to be watching this tomorrow when I play it back to her. So, hi, Elsie.
Did I swear? If so, I'm really sorry. Come on, do that at the right time. What does she call you?
What did she call me? Nanny.
Yeah. Nanny.
I'm a nanny. Yes.
And was that did you decide that, or did she decide that? Or did it evolve?
Well, no, I decided it because my grandmother, I called her Nanny. She's one of the most amazing women that was in my life. So I wanted to be called Nanny. But she ended up calling me Ninny, actually, when she was little. I was a Ninny.
I'm a grandfather now, but I want to be called Grandpa. So it's like, we used to say it again and again, Grandpa, Grandpa, Grandpa. My grandparents, I used to have Granddad, and I used to have Papa. So Papa was my mum's dad, and it was because I couldn't say Grandpa. So I'm thinking I might end up getting called something else. And I was talking to another group of friends about it, and they went, "Oh, you don't get to choose; it'll evolve." And then another kid said, "Yeah, my granddad's called Pumps, and we call him Pumps because." Well, I'll not tell you why. You can work it out. It's a little joke, and it just stuck with him. And now these people are in their 40s, and this very old man, very very frail old man, still they call him Pumps.
Oh, that's cute.
Brilliant. Okay, Angie, extra hour of light. What are you going to do with it?
I'm going to do more cycling. So I've been doing my exercise the last 12 months, but it's all been indoors in my kitchen gym, essentially, online Zumba and Taibo. So which combination of Tai Chi and boxing, kickboxing. I'm trying not to kick the recipe books off the shelf, so I've got better at it. But yeah, so I'm going to start doing cycling. I'm going to get up and start cycling on the seafront again, getting the fresh air.
Can I make a request, please? Would
Go
you
on.
post some of those really cool pictures with your mirrored sunglasses on?
Oh, yeah, of course I will. I'll get the avatars out.
Last spring, you
Sorry.
posted some super on How to Be Brilliant. You posted some super cool pictures. It was like, wow, and it was like South of France type thing. And you had the fantastic scarves on and these, mirror sunglasses. I was like, oh, that is glamorous. That is glam. So
I'll
please,
do that.
do glam shots. Ian,
No
would you do some glam shots as well for us?
On my bike.
Anywhere you like.
Michael, you know what happens when I get on my bike.
Oh shoot, yeah.
Yes. Last time I got on my bike last summer, a dog ran in front of it, and I went like that in the air and landed on that. And fractured it in many places and ended up having an operation. So
crazy thing is, it's a Peloton. He didn't even leave the house.
They don't show that on the TV advert.
Dog running out on the screen.
Yeah. The dog was called Brandy, which I always thought was quite appropriate. But,
we're a minute over time, so Ian, please tell us, what are you going to do with this wonderful extra hour?
I'm going to keep pounding the streets of Edinburgh. The best thing about lockdown has just been exploring this beautiful city that I love. I mean, we travel around the world, and the place we go to Scotland most is Edinburgh Airport. But actually, the last year's forced me to really appreciate where I live, and it's stunning. And I keep finding just the most beautiful parts of town that I never knew existed. So I'm sure there's plenty more of those.
Awesome. Well, look, thank you very much, everybody. I have loved this. What great fun. And are we there yet? And stand out. Get yourself these books, folks. And Angie, when's your book coming out?
I am planning to get first draft done by June 21st. Date I set. Game Changer Leadership. So it's leading with compassion, kindness, and collaboration. That's what.
Come on.
Leadership.
Come on, folks. Everybody's loved this tonight. Thank you very much. We're getting some unusual comments. He wears plimsolls. That must still be Tony Hadley that we're talking about rather than Nelson. Some thank yous from people. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. That's great. I'm going to say
inviting us as well, Michael. It's been fantastic. Thank you for inviting us.
Thank you.
An absolute pleasure. Look, folks, just while you're on, if you're interested in more about what we do, Team 17 Open Night is taking place on Monday evening. If you would like to know more, then just send me a message, get in touch somehow, and we'll send you an invitation and come along and find out about what we do on Team 17. And let's support everybody. Let's keep the love going. Thank you very much indeed, everybody. Good night. Be brilliant. Bye.
Bye.